Hello, good evening to you all. I hope you've had a good start into 2023, and I wish you a happy new year and a elated Merry Christmas. This isn't one of my regular videos. I'm just here to tell you a quick little story about a great achievement that has just occurred in the world of NES Tetris. On January the 1st, just as the year 2023 had begun, NGC Man scored the 6th ever DAS 1.3 million score, coming about a year and a half after Tristop's historic first ever 1.3 with DAS. But let's rewind a little bit. Who is NGC Man and why does him becoming the 78th 1.3 player in NES Tetris matter? Well, for NGC Man, this is no ordinary PB. While before him, 77 players had achieved the 1.3 mark, only 4 players have achieved this milestone while playing with DAS. NGC Man had been trying to enter almost unexplored territory of the DAS 1.3 Plus land, and this endeavor had been going on for well over a year. This was a message I wrote when both NGC Man and I were high 1.2 players, with the DAS 1.3 being the next logical milestone for the two of us. This message was written on the 9th of September 2021. I actually vividly remember how this race began. In 2021, NGC Man was an up-and-coming DAS player moving up the ranks like many others had before him. The first time everyone in the community took notice of him, though, was his 19-star 1.2, which was also his first ever 1.2 million score overall. In the end, the game was found not to be DAS possible, but it was still a major achievement and a major turning point in how both the community saw NGC and how NGC saw himself. If you tuned into an NGC Man stream back in 2021, you may have noticed a score counter. He actually did include a number of 1.3s, but next to it stood a message saying, "In my dreams." During this time of great success for him, this message was changed to 1.3s, "In my future." The DAS 1.3 grind had officially begun. Grinding for high scores in NES Tetris is a long, boring, and nihilistic endeavor. When you're grinding for a DAS 1.3, it's all of that times 10. When Tristop was grinding for the first ever DAS 1.3, the journey took him a couple of months. It was a similar experience for myself, and I can personally testify that grind was tough and it took a toll on me with regards to my play. However, what I didn't realize at the time, that while a couple of months of grinding was tough, I'd actually been pretty lucky in that it only took those couple of months. NGC Man would be grinding for the score for a whole lot longer. In my years of following Nestris and being in its community, I don't actually recall a more arduous grind than this one. To put things into perspective, I had a total of 2 games where I'd reached the million point mark in level 24, with one of those being my 1.3. By the end of NGC's grind, he had 9 games where he maxed out on level 24. As I've said, grinds that take multiple months are common. A grind of this magnitude that took well over a year was completely unprecedented. I can personally attest that this grind had its ups and downs. At times, NGC Man wondered if he would ever actually achieve his dream of joining the DAS 1.3 club. And then, one day, it finally happened. With his score, NGC Man became just the 5th player to obtain the highly coveted D on the screen with DAS. And he made history by becoming the first ever DAS player to have a 1.3 million and 1.2 million score on 18 start and 19 start respectively. But to me, this achievement is far more than a player getting a decent score in a video game. It's the conclusion for quite possibly the toughest and longest grind a single player has ever engaged in the history of NES Tetris, and something I believe we can all learn from. I truly believe that in life, there is no greater tool than persistence. No man is more powerful than a man who simply refuses to give up. It doesn't matter how many times life tells you no, and puts you down a peg for the sake of it. If you get back up and keep chipping away at your dreams, eventually life has no other choice but to give you your reward. Failure is the backbone of all great success stories. NGC Man had been failing to get his long-awaited DAS 1.3 for a whole year, but in the end, that really couldn't matter less, because in the end, he never gave up. He always kept believing and putting himself through this ridiculous grind, and in the end, the game had nothing else to throw at him but to finally give him his long-awaited 1.3. Here's to the truly great DAS player and my friend NGC Man. I am so happy that you finally got your dream. There's no one I'm prouder to call my fellow DAS 1.3 player. Enjoy the title. I can tell you from personal experience, it never gets old. Thanks for watching, and remember the almost cliche but oh so true line of never give up. See you in the next video.